Hey everyone, Jason here again. As I had mentioned in my previous video about only murders in the building, I'm going to be talking theories. So each week I will be going into each episode with all the clues, revelations, and twists and turns to get us closer and closer to who the murderer is, and I'll be giving my thoughts and theories on who that might be. Obviously, I will be talking major spoilers, so if you haven't seen Only Murders in the Building, go ahead and check it out. I highly recommend it, as I did in my previous video. But if you have seen it, and if that doesn't matter, well, we've gotten past the spoiler warning, so here we go. I'm going to try to give as brief a rundown of Season 1 and the last 2 episodes as I can, in preparation for the next episode coming tomorrow. So I will probably have another video later on this week. So look out for that too. So let's get started. In Season 1, our intrepid trio of investigators, Charles, Oliver, and Mabel, discovered that the murder victim, Tim Kono, was killed by none other than Charles's ex-girlfriend, Jan. She was having an affair with Tim, and he broke it off. She got jealous, so she poisoned him, then pulled the fire alarm, went into his apartment, typed up a suicide note, took the ring that he'd been looking for, the proof that he needed, that Teddy Demas and Theo Demas were involved in Zoe's death 10 years ago, his friend Zoe's death 10 years ago. She then, after he had passed, she then used his gun and his hand to make it look like he shot himself. So the police would believe it was suicide. Obviously, also last season, Teddy Demas and Theo were, in fact, arrested and detained for Zoe's murder until, actually at the time for Tim and Zoe's murder, until it was discovered that they had an alibi for Tim's murder. So they at least went down for the one, not for the other. Now, there were some lingering questions last season. One big one is that big one in the finale, which is who killed Bunny Folger. At the end of the finale, Oliver and Charles receive a mysterious text while up on the roof after Mabel had gone down to her apartment to get some more champagne for their celebration. The text told them to get out of the building immediately, so they ran down to Mabel's apartment to get her, only to find her kneeled over a body with her shirt all bloodied. The body in a tie-dye hoodie, and she tells the two of them as they enter the room, "It's not what you think." As she turns the body over, it is Bunny, dressed in a only murders in the building hoodie that Oliver was trying to sell at the building meeting. So, but another lingering question was who poisoned Oliver's dog, Winnie. Now, we might have all assumed that it was Jan, but she never really fessed up to it, and the circumstances surrounding his poisoning don't really add up. They don't really add up that much in terms of pointing to Jan. Now, the note on the door that threatened him to end the podcast also matches the handwriting on the note that was left on Jan's door, telling her that whomever they were was watching her, and she looked genuinely terrified. I assume that's also why she stabbed herself, to remove suspicion from both herself and whomever this might have been. There's also some lingering questions about what's going on in the NYPD. As we know, Tim's tox report and his phone were not submitted to evidence, meaning somebody tried to stop it, meaning there's some crazy shenanigans going on at the NYPD that Detective Williams is not aware of and is trying to investigate, most likely trying to find out on her own. So that's something I'm really hoping they uncover this season. Now, as for the first 2 episodes, Mabel, Charles, and Oliver were released from police custody because they could not find sufficient evidence that pointed to them, regardless of the fact that Mabel's knitting needles were found in Bunny, and also that Mabel was, Bunny was found in Mabel's apartment with Mabel knelt over her. That night is a bit hazy to Mabel because she had been drinking champagne, so she wasn't quite 100%. So there's still some lingering questions on that. One thing she did get from that was the information of 14 and Savage, 2 of Bunny's last words. Now that could be reference to the painting that she had in her apartment, that erotic painting of Charles's father, labeled Savage on the back. Or it could be a reference to Charles himself. Mabel certainly might suspect that Charles could have something to do with it, but the fact that the 3 of them were together, to me, really eliminates Charles as a suspect. Yeah, that would. But the big thing was that we're also uncovering the secrets of the Arconia, as well as secrets of Charles's past, particularly with his father, having an affair with both Bunny's mom and Rose Cooper, the artist who painted the picture with his father. So I have a feeling both of those incidents, Bunny's murder and Rose Cooper's murder, might be linked somehow. The other piece of evidence we got in the last couple episodes was, of course, the parrot, Mr. Gamblini, Bunny's parrot, who in the final moments of the second episode uttered the words, "I know who did it." So that'll be an interesting thing to see next week, how that plays out, because it seems like that parrot is going to has a way of repeating things that it heard in very accurate fashion, because it even has Bunny's voice down. So that's interesting. One person of interest to me, maybe not in terms of the murder, but in terms of their motives, is the character of Alice, played by Cara Delevingne. She's engaging herself in a relationship with Mabel, and while that's all well and good, it's a bit odd, the timing and everything, and her going into her messages, her doing all this. It just seems a bit weird. So I don't know if Alice has anything to do with Bunny's murder, but I'm a bit skeptical of her true motives or true intentions. At least, with Mabel. So I'm a bit curious about that, and I have my theories on that. Another person of interest to me is Howard. Now, last season they thought he might have killed Tim just because Howard suspected Tim killed his cat, Evelyn. Now, as we kind of surmised, we kind of figured out last season, Evelyn might have come into Tim's apartment after Tim had been shot, after Tim had died, and licked up some of his blood, and that's how how she had the poison in her system. That's how she might have died. Howard said so in the building meeting when the toxicology report for his cat came back, and it was, in fact, the same poison that killed Tim. So, but there's some suspicious behavior coming from Howard this season. He's a bit chummier with the trio than he was in the previous season. In fact, he's a huge fan of the podcast, which is a bit weird. Also, he's been, he's had a black eye since we saw him, at least in episode 1 and episode 2. So it's all a bit strange. I definitely view him as a person of interest. I don't know if he did it, because as we know, he'd faint at the sign of blood, but as Charles pointed out, he knows an actor. He can smell an actor a mile away, a bad actor a mile away. So Howard is definitely a point of interest for me, a person of interest for me. Another person might be Ursula. While they were trying to sneak the painting, which was found in Charles's apartment, back into Bunny's apartment through the freight elevator that they found in Bunny's closet when they broke into her apartment through the vent in Mabel's bathroom. Ursula was throwing a box away and appeared to be looking up and kind of around in a very suspicious manner. Again, I don't think Ursula did it, but she might have something to do with something going on in the building. I firmly believe there's a big conspiracy going on, and we'll start to uncover it bit by bit each season, or each, as the show progresses. So we'll see how that all unfolds moving forward. Those are kind of some of my theories on who might be involved and who might have done it. We'll see what further truths and clues unfold in this week's episode. My final thought is one that's sort of a personal thought in terms of some character stuff. This season, we were introduced to the idea of the character. We were introduced to this kind of off-camera character, Lucy, Charles's ex-girlfriend's daughter, who had kind of formed a relationship until his ex sabotaged it because she might have been jealous of their connection. So it would be interesting to me, and I really hope, because at the end of the first season, in the final episode, Charles reaches out to her through a text, and she reaches back. So I do sincerely hope that they bring that character into the series, because I think it would do more and do a lot more to further develop Charles's character. I've said this before, and I believe that each season is kind of centered around a certain character through the mystery of, whoever the victim is. So last season, because Tim Kono was a friend of Mabel, it was kind of peeling back and going into her history and her thing in season 1. Season 2, I think, is really Charles's season, because through the murder of Bunny, we're starting to find out things about his father and thus his past. So I think this might be another season. Each character has their own development throughout the series, but I feel like each character has their own kind of personal. They have to face their own personal demons, and so this might be Charles's season. And I hope that if they bring Lucy into the show, that it kind of also peels back the layers of his character a little bit more. That would be interesting to see. Oh, one more thing that might be a significant clue. As I had mentioned, the hoodie that Bunny was wearing. Who gave her that hoodie? Who put that on her? Was it hers? Was it someone else's? And of course, a woman of her size, how would somebody had put it on her, they would have had to have known they were going to use it to kill her, and as part of her murder. So that's a detail that I'd be interested in exploring later on down the line this season. But I'm looking forward to seeing this mystery as it unfolds. So those are my thoughts as of right now. I'll be seeing you on the next one for more theories on who might have killed Bunny Folger. let me know what you think down in the comments, your thoughts, your theories, any significant clues I might have missed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click that notification bell to get updates on all my future videos, especially my Only Murders in the Building videos. And until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.